JOANN represents a nationwide network of retail outlets specializing in textiles and handicraft supplies, boasting more than 8 decades of operation. During this extensive period, the business expanded to encompass over 800 sites across virtually every American state, with Hawaii being the sole exception. Currently, however, the outlook suggests that numerous locations face potential permanent closure. Throughout its remarkable timeline, JOANN managed to weather various turbulent periods, though perhaps none proved as dire as recent years. Consider these notable developments. In May 2023, the company's chief executive departed following what he described as a difficult fiscal period. Remarkably, more than 18 months have passed without appointing a permanent successor. The more significant development likely caught your attention. March 2024 saw JOANN seek bankruptcy protection, disclosing liabilities exceeding $1 billion. Following this filing, creditors assumed operational control, delisting the enterprise from public trading, and successfully reducing the debt burden by approximately half. With minimal workforce reductions and 0 store closures, the situation appeared to be merely a temporary hurdle with swift resolution prospects. However, less than 12 months later, January 2025 brought another bankruptcy filing. This time, management has already confirmed several location closures, with genuine concern that complete liquidation could occur absent a purchaser committed to maintaining operations. Today's discussion will trace this company's evolution while identifying 5 primary factors contributing to its downturn. Declining sewing activity. Anyone engaged in sewing can likely confirm that JOANN serves as the primary destination for sewing-related needs. The company generates over $1 billion annually from sewing merchandise, capturing roughly 1/3 of the marketplace and establishing itself as the nation's dominant player. The enterprise originated in Ohio during the 1940s, founded by several German immigrants who collaborated to launch the initial location. Interestingly, none bore the name JOANN. In fact, no significant figure in the company's history has carried this name. The designation actually merges 2 founders' daughters' names, Joan and Jacqueline, hence JOANN. Originally titled Cleveland Fabric Shop, this regionally specific designation proved limiting. As geographic expansion occurred, the JOANN branding became standard for individual locations, while the parent corporation maintained the name Fabric Centers of America. By the 1970s, approximately 170 stores existed, predominantly smaller formats located within shopping centers. This era marked the beginning of sewing's popularity decline. The primary catalyst was increasing female workforce participation. The 1970s witnessed this cultural transformation accelerating dramatically. With reduced domestic time, sewing dedication diminished. Consequently, department and discount retailers contracted or completely eliminated their textile departments, instead emphasizing broader clothing selections. The complication? Despite declining demand, the 1980s still featured numerous fabric retail chains. The situation evolved into competitive survival, creating one of the industry's most cutthroat environments. Quick favor, if you found this video interesting, subscribing helps us cover more rise and fall stories like this. Kindly do please. Competitive pressures. This point may seem counterintuitive. Despite reduced fabric demand, fabric retailers didn't contract, but actually expanded, hoping to capture larger market shares and emerge as the ultimate survivor. Many chains, JOANN included, embraced the 1980s category killer approach, launching substantially larger stores, typically standalone or strip mall locations. Marketing intensified. Massive distribution facilities emerged to support expanded merchandise variety. By the 1990s, the market suffered from oversaturation with excessive fabric store presence. Most chains now carried debt from expansion efforts, struggling to attract sufficient customer traffic for profitability. Predictably, industry consolidation commenced. Many chains either ceased operations or were absorbed by competitors. Notably, 1994 saw JOANN acquire Cloth World for $62 million, a 343-store chain predominantly serving southern regions where JOANN lacked significant presence, offering perfect geographic expansion. In 1998, they purchased House of Fabrics for approximately $100 million, a major competitor. This acquisition pushed their location count above 1,000, essentially crowning JOANN as the prevailing fabric retailer. Subsequently, they unified various controlled stores under the JOANN brand, creating consistent identity and establishing national chain status. A crucial takeaway: filling these larger spaces and expanding selections led them into various arts and craft supplies. Their CEO noted that their broadened product range reflected industry trends toward heightened consumer interest in crafts and home decoration. While they effectively dominated the fabric and sewing sector, they'd entered territory bringing direct competition with national chains like Michaels and Hobby Lobby, not to mention online retailers now almost universally recognized as threatening physical retail. Recent complaints suggest JOANN shows less organization and less helpful staff compared to competitors, potentially due to workforce reductions. As I continue through this list, you'll understand why JOANN simply isn't well positioned for this competition. The buyout. This reason appears on these lists far too frequently and genuinely complicates matters. Following the 1990s turbulence, JOANN emerged weakened like a boxer, leaving the ring battered after a grueling victory. Constructing those massive stores and acquiring competitors proved expensive, creating substantial debt. Encouragingly, the following decade brought gradual recovery. Sales reached over $2 billion annually, while debt reduced to nearly nothing. Then came trouble. 2010 saw JOANN sold to private equity firm Leonard Green for $1.6 billion, a 34% premium above trading value, apparently largely leveraged, meaning debt was added to facilitate the transaction. Following this narrative proves frustrating, watching the company stabilize after such precarious circumstances only to be thrust back into risk. It's like watching David Blaine attempt another stunt, no disrespect intended, but eventually one should appreciate surviving previous challenges. The point is straightforward. Without this buyout adding enormous debt, the company wouldn't face such debt burdens requiring bankruptcy relief. This represents perhaps the most direct cause of recent difficulties. External circumstances. These recent developments beyond company control made operating under weakened financial conditions extremely difficult. Several factors connect to broader economic conditions. Interest rates and inflation damage sales by making customers less inclined to purchase these items, or more likely to choose cheaper competitors when purchasing. The more impactful external element was the pandemic. During this period, people crafted homemade masks and remained home, sewing or pursuing various crafts. All JOANN metrics improved, sales and income increased substantially. The owners apparently capitalized on this optimism by returning a portion of the company to public markets, raising over $100 million. However, as restrictions were lifted and people spent less time home crafting, those numbers plummeted. Ironically, the pandemic's end ranked among the worst developments for them. $100 invested at the initial public offering would have declined to roughly $30 within 2 years, becoming nearly worthless by the first bankruptcy. Another revealing graph shows net income. Many losses stemmed from goodwill impairments, essentially the company acknowledging value loss. Still, everything considered, it demonstrates how dire circumstances were before and after the pandemic. Long-term debt briefly decreased before climbing again, forcing these bankruptcies. Inventory challenges. Regarding the second bankruptcy, it's concerning when you must clarify that JOANN's interim CEO stated recent years presented significant, lasting challenges in the retail environment, which combined with their current financial position and constrained inventory levels forced this action. The actual filing addressed inventory by stating unexpected production reductions and, in some instances, complete production cessation occurred. I included this partially because I've rarely used cessation, but also because it emphasizes their severe inventory acquisition troubles, clearly problematic for retailers, depending on extensive product selection, potentially explaining why customers increasingly favor competitors. They source 44% of products from foreign countries, particularly China, where import tariffs proved costly. They've worked to diversify suppliers from other nations, where freight expenses remained high. Simply being in such poor financial condition means suppliers demand advance payment, distrusting their payment capability. As you might guess, JOANN lacks sufficient available cash for these arrangements. Everything becomes a downward spiral where existing problems generate new ones, reaching a point where major intervention is necessary for any recovery chance. Honestly, examining the overall situation, they've made numerous risky decisions, become apparently inefficient, and lost a considerable customer base to a point where I question how much demand exists for their continued operation. I want to ask, do you view them as a deteriorating version of Hobby Lobby, or does something special about them make their potential disappearance regrettable? They state their vision is becoming the inspirational leader, helping everyone discover their happy place through superior assortments, presentation, and service, which sounds admirable, but I question whether they're achieving this. Let me know your thoughts. What future do you envision for JOANN? Will they remain a prime destination for sewing and crafting materials? Or are we witnessing the company's unraveling toward its ultimate conclusion? Also, for regular JOANN shoppers, I genuinely appreciate hearing. What specifically do you purchase there, and why choose them over alternatives? Is it selection, convenience, or perhaps just habit given their longevity? Share your thoughts and any other observations about JOANN. I know it sounds like discussing a person each time I say that. Leave comments. I'd genuinely like to hear your perspective. Thank you for watching.